However, many new businesses struggle to create a compelling brand that resonates with customers and communicates their unique value. And so today, that is why we're having this conversation with Mr. Godswill TK Mensah. I'm going to read his profile shortly and then we get into that. But whether you are starting your own business, you're starting your first business, or you're looking to rebrand for better results, this conversation will equip you with some actionable insights to create a brand that stands out in the marketplace. And so let me read his profile very quickly and then we get into the conversation. So Godswill TK Mensah is a passionate preacher, entrepreneur, author, husband, father, and advocate for value-based leadership. With over 20 years of speaking experience across 38 countries, he inspires change from Africa to the world. As the executive director of the Center for Outreach Mentorship and Empowerment, CAM, he empowers young leaders for purpose-driven impact. He's known for his candid style. He connects deeply with students, professionals, and industry leaders. His latest publications include Roaring Through the Dark, Not Yet Tied, and Convictions. All of these books urge audiences not to fear embracing change, causing change, and giving change its rightful meaning. This morning, Mr. Godswill TK Mensah is in studio with me, and I'll just bring him in. Sir, you're welcome.
My privilege.
Thank you so much for coming.
Great to see you. You look good.
Thank you. You too. I like your kaftan. Is it
at
kaftan
best I can say you are good looking.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you this morning.
Yes.
The conversation we're going to have is very, very important. And from your profile and from what I've read about you, you are the best person to have this conversation with. And I know my audiences are itching to hear from you.
Yeah.
So let's start the conversation this way. How would you define branding?
Basically, I would say branding is what people will say about you when you are not present. That's a brand.
When you are not present?
Yes, when you are not present.
Wow.
It gives the true ethos of a brand. In essence, your identity is a brand.
I see.
Yep.
Because I was telling them a story, my audience, a story a few minutes ago about Radio Shack. So Radio Shack started as a company in America, and they were all over the world when it comes to electronics, mobile phones, what have you, all the electronic gadgets that you know about. But it got to a point that other things began to come into the market, like laptops and all of that. Then they got confused. They couldn't stick to their identity. Then eventually Radio Shack got out of the market because people didn't understand them. And so I appreciate what you're saying about the identity and all of that. Now, what is the difference between branding and marketing?
All right. I will put it this way, that branding is your identity. Now, marketing is the pathway in communicating that identity to your audience. In essence, branding is who you are. Marketing is getting the audience to know that personality.
Right.
Be it by emotional connection and value proposition. So marketing is saying, a loud voice saying this is a good person. Pay attention. Marketing. Branding, who you really are. Okay. In essence, no matter how much you market, if a brand is bad, it is bad. So to put it philosophically, I would say that branding is a condition precedent to marketing. You must brand first before you market. But people are marketing while they are not looking at the branding. And we do it as individuals too. So you go to social media, a lot of people are packaging. That is marketing. First, be real. So if you are real, if the product is real, if the identity is solid, then you have a good brand.
Right.
Then marketing is easier if the brand is solid.
Okay.
Marketing becomes difficult if you are dealing with a very bad brand. Sure.
Very interesting. Okay, so the difference is that branding is about who you are.
Yes, your identity.
But marketing is what you are telling the world.
Exactly.
Okay, so
marketing is announcing the brand to the world.
So if you have a bad brand and you are marketing, then you are selling a wrong message.
It's a matter of time. People will get to know. If it is fake, it is fake.
Okay.
So branding itself is is building an authentic identity.
Okay.
Be real.
Okay.
Be real.
We'll get into what exactly it entails very soon.
Yeah.
But why is it important for businesses or even human beings? I mean,
Great.
to have a brand.
There are a lot of entities.
Okay.
There are a lot of individuals. There are a lot of businesses or product. What branding does is branding creates a niche for you.
Okay.
It causes you to connect with your audience in a very intimate manner. And it makes you look different. It sets you apart. So, for example, when you want to talk about a place where you can buy items that are a little cheap, but you can stick your neck to it a little, not to promote a brand, but there is a brand we're saying where Ghana shops.
Okay.
It's a brand.
Right.
When you are looking for an authentic mobile phone that is solid, that people cannot easily hack into, a brand will come to mind. When you want to make a call in Ghana, and regardless of your location, you are able to connect without having issues with network, somebody is saying everywhere you go. So a brand sets you apart. It gives you a niche.
Okay.
It creates a unique identity for you. So in a market where everybody, we have about, let's say, 8 billion people. My name is Godswotike Mensah, and I am a brand. It sets me apart. So a brand gives you a unique identity.
Right.
So regardless what everybody else is selling, your brand will bring your client to remember you and are willing to choose you and are willing to be loyal and to trust you. Branding. Yep.
Okay, so what are some of the misconceptions that businesses have when it comes to branding?
It's expensive.
Branding is so expensive?
They say it's expensive.
It's not?
It is not as expensive as many people think. This is the reason why small businesses are not willing to. Another issue is branding is for big organizations. No. Branding is for everyone. It's for every product.
Right.
So, number one, branding is expensive. It's not truth. It is not the truth. Because to create a personality that is authentic must not be expensive to me.
Okay.
You must build it according to your strength, according to your target, according to your customers. So the first myth is branding is expensive. It is not as expensive as people project it. Because if you are doing 10 figures or 8 figures, your branding must be within your ability.
Okay.
The reason why branding becomes expensive is when we want to be what we are not. The whole branding concept is be real. Number two, we are small businesses. We don't need to do. A1 started, and what do they start doing? A1 bread is just saying, if you're looking for an authentic bread that is hot, that is real, and that is very, very tasty, we are here. They started as a local, simple bakery.
Right.
Today, they are a household name.
Right.
So the misconception is it is expensive. It's for big businesses. It's for corporate giant. No. Every business, even if your audience are 10, you must brand.
If your audience are 10, you must brand. I mean, your customers.
Yes.
Really. Okay, so at what point should a business start branding?
Before they even begin. Branding should not be an afterthought. In the entire scheme of bringing a business, a product to life, branding must be conceptualized before the public begins to know the brand.
Right.
So branding must not be an afterthought. Immediately you are conceiving a product, a service. By that time, you know who your audience are.
Right.
By that time, you know their value proposition. By that time, you know how to connect and the rest. So you figure all this out before you are out to the world. So branding is not to be an afterthought. You think it the day you are starting to look at a problem and trying to provide a solution. There and there, you must commit to a branding philosophy or strategy.
Wow. So is it just about logos and visuals? Because people think that branding is how I look. So you see somebody, maybe a gentleman, dresses very well.
Yeah.
and then they just go like, I mean, this guy has a nice brand.
Yeah. No, it's
Is that what it means?
No, it's a packaging. Logo is just an outward representation. Branding in essence is experience.
Okay.
The emotions your customers or your client or your audience get when you come to mind, the satisfaction you give them, the experience they have when they come in contact with you or your product, that is branding. So branding is experience. It's not just a logo. A logo is 1/1,000,000th of the whole concept of a brand. It's necessary. Let me just hasten to add, it's critical, but that is not a key foundation of branding. Branding, in simple term, is how you make people feel. It's experience. After they've left your presence, what smile do they carry?
Okay.
What memory stays with them? That is branding.
Okay, so when we're talking, let me just take you back
Yeah.
a bit. When you were talking about businesses branding right from scratch
Yes.
before they even start
Yes.
their business, so what came to mind is then what is rebranding? Because I've seen businesses that have started and then along the line they go like, we are rebranding.
Sure.
What do they mean? Does it mean they are changing their identity? What does it mean really?
Rebranding is very essential. The reason is that branding in essence is saying, I want to meet a need of my audience. So for example, to brand, you need to know your audience.
Okay.
To brand, it must be very clear to you. I'm not serving everybody. I'm serving just a certain group of audience. Number two, to brand is to know the needs of that audience. To meet the needs of that audience, it's basically about satisfying or solving a problem. Now, when in the process of delivering value over a period of time, product or organizations or entity are to sit back and research to find out, where are our audience now? Where are our customers now? I speak to students in the universities. Now, some of them today are captains of industry. So as a public speaker, I need to rebrand. Now, I'm not going to speak only to students. Some of my audience are now captains of industries.
Right.
So in my rebranding, my messaging must now touch base with same. Our organization is a center for outreach, mentorship, and empowerment. We are doing human capital development. We do value-based leadership. We started with student groups, but today we are in the corporate space, providing solutions to institutions and organizations on their human labor. How do we come to that term? We notice that after 10 years, after 6 years, our audience profile are changing. So we need to rebrand. So rebranding is key. For example, a typical example is Fun Eyes. Or they started, everybody was talking about it at a point. Now they want to still provide value or fun, but they now want to add a health component.
Right.
So they introduce new brands. That is rebranding them, that we are not just providing ice cream.
You mean new product?
New product.
Yeah.
We are now providing also health conscious product.
Right.
So rebranding is indispensable within the value chain of branding.
But when businesses say they are rebranding, all we see is that they change their logos. Sometimes they change the name of even the business, and sometimes they change the colors and all of that. How can we make sense of that?
It's about 10% of the entire branding matrix. So for example, strategy may change. All you may know, product lines may evolve.
Right.
So their marketing is changing, is what you are saying. The way they are marketing their product is now a little different, but the value must almost remain the same. Yes. So anybody who says rebranding is akin to just logo change, color difference,
right,
and maybe set up. No, that is just the lower leg of the real branding. Remember, I'm saying that branding is about experience. So if you are not giving a new experience, you are not rebranding. If you are not improving, a better word to use, a new experience to the audience, then you are not engaging rebranding. Rebranding is in essence saying, I want to serve better. I want to be more impactful. I want to be more meaningful. And I want to influence my audience in a better way. Basically, the philosophy about rebranding.
Well, it's exactly 9 a.m. and this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Raphael Nietzsche Hammond. And I'm speaking to Mr. Godswill
Yes.
TK Mensah. And we're talking about effective branding strategies for your business. So if you're listening to, if you're tuned in this morning, you may want to join the conversation on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH. Instagram, Facebook, X at ZFMGH. And then on YouTube and TikTok, we are Z Multimedia. Z Multimedia on YouTube and TikTok. You could also text us on WhatsApp on 0544 32 1019. 0544 321019. 0544 321019. You can also phone in and then we bring you into the conversation. If you have comments, you have questions for Mr. Godsway, Godswell, TK Mensa, then you can just join the conversation. Now, so let's get into the conversation proper. And we're going to talk about building a strong foundation. How can new businesses identify their unique value? Everybody wants to do what everybody else is doing. How can I identify, as a business, how can I identify my unique value or my differentiator?
Question number one, you need to find out what unique problem are you solving?
Okay.
Number one, what unique solution am I bringing on board? Number two, how is that influencing my audience? Number three, get a feedback from your audience. Can you go over it again?
Number
one, you need to find out what unique solution are you bringing on board.
Okay.
So first point, solution, that is unique.
Okay.
Number two, how is that influencing or impacting your client or your customers? And then number three, what feedback are you getting from those using your product?
Okay.
With this three basic stuff, you are able to find out your unique selling point. But I must hasten to add, without identifying your audience, there is no way you can be a brand.
Okay.
There is no way you can be a brand. Brand is not in your head. It's not how you feel. It's not about your ego. It's not about your personality per se. It's about the customer's experience. So if you know what is unique for them concerning your product, if you know how that is aiding them, then you will get a feedback from them. Then you can now build a brand strategy.
All right, let me try and take what you just shared one
Great.
after the other. So your first question is that you need to know the unique problem you are solving.
Yeah.
Now, in today's world, we see a lot of people who want to go into business.
Yep.
Let's say they want to sell maybe clothes, right? Oftentimes, you see other people doing the same business.
Yep.
Then somebody just comes in and they're also doing the same thing without any unique. You see that it's almost the same.
Yep.
Maybe if somebody's sewing kaftans, I'm also sewing kaftans. And that is, I'm also in the market.
Yep.
How do I differentiate myself really?
The question is first to find out, who do you want to serve?
Okay.
A lack of creativity and innovation is a lack of identifying what we call a niche audience, a niche client. We want to serve everybody. The reason why people are mimicking, in brand preposition we can call that mimicking. The reason why many businesses are just mimicking themselves, and this is the reason why we can't be on the global stage, is because we have not yet identified our unique client. So if you know exactly, so I want to serve professionals from the ages of 25 to 40. They are the ones I want to serve. People who are ambitious, people who are forward-looking, people who have a taste of Pan-Africanism. And with that in mind, my brand flavor and the rest will be different. Take Woodin. The patterns of Kente you see is a unique sell point for them. They want to identify with a certain unique audience. Right. So without identifying that unique audience, at best, my brother, I can confidently say you will go nowhere with that branding. It will not sell. And this is what the typical Ghanaian business must learn. And we need to start teaching it in schools, not as an elective course. We must. Remember, the African Continental Free Trade Area is in Ghana.
Right.
Ghana must begin to see itself as the economic headquarters of Africa. And every Ghanaian must understand the place of branding, its impact in our socio-economic journey, and why the Ghanaian must stand out in the whole branding discussion. It is key. So you need to know your audience, and that will let you know the unique problem you want to solve.
Right.
If you don't know my need, so before I came to your studio, anyway, you have a good studio.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Yeah. And I'm not flattering you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I checked you up. I checked everything. And I said, whoa, I saw what you are attempting to do.
Right.
I saw the place of ethics. I saw the place of, there is a veiled anchor of faith in all what you do.
That's true.
So I quickly know what these people are up to.
Right.
Because you are communicating and you're doing it so well that we want an ethical version of media consumption.
Right.
We just don't want to do what everybody's doing.
Right.
So in this place, I know you will check your fact. There are no cheap propaganda.
Right.
Why? Your audience is people who want ethics as a hallmark.
Right.
So you have cut a niche for yourself.
Yeah.
Every business. When you were doing your lunch, a statement was made by one of the preachers in Ghana that there is a lot of media houses, but you want to solve a problem. You are talking about credibility and ethics. So you have defined a unique problem you have seen in the media landscape you want to solve. And that is defining your audience.
Right.
It can only get better.
Yeah.
Every business must know their unique audience. Go ahead.
If you're a business, this is where you have to tune in every day, because this is Business Breakfast on Z, and we are your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform. Your only lifestyle, leisure, and business platform. We don't do anything politics. I mean, we have an idea. We have a brand. We don't do politics. We may touch on those things a bit. I mean, as and when it matters. But we are focused really on business, and we want to see your business thrive. And so this is where you have to tune in every day. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend. All right, let's get into our conversation a bit more. Now, what are the key? Okay, let's talk about the things that you wrote. I mean, you mentioned a while ago. I said we'll take them one after the other so that I don't lie to my audience. Now, you talk about solution. I think you've tried to answer that already. How is and you said the third question is, how is that influencing your clients?
Yeah.
Can you throw a bit more light on that?
There is a pain point to every client. Every customer has a need. So, for example, somebody says that we want to pick people's data, analyze them so that they make an informed decision. So they form a data analyzing entity.
Right.
We say that we have seen a problem in leadership across Africa and in the marketplace. We want to provide a new generation of leaders that will drive economic change and do it on a basis of excellence and integrity. You need to know if your product, if your business is not leading your customers to reach their aspiration where they want to go, you are not going to be in business for long. I.e., somebody says that I want to be the best in my area of, let's say, IT. So I'm coming to read computer science as first degree.
Right.
That is the aspiration that's the need area. So if you are providing an education that is not leading that student, that parent, to make sure that their son or their daughter reaches that target, you are just doing what we call the mundane, business as usual. If I can provide a solution that will aid you to move to the next level of your life's aspiration, then we are connected. I am giving value for what you are seeking. So that is very critical for those who are in branding.
I see. Let's talk a bit about the feedback thing that you mentioned.
Good.
So you mentioned that businesses, the kind of feedback that you get from your customers should give you an idea of the brand that you're building.
Sure.
Does it mean then that I have to start selling before I begin to look at what brand I'm putting out there? Is that what it means? That I have to start selling? Because if I'm expecting feedback, then I need to give somebody a product and then get their feedback before I get to know that I'm doing well or not. So maybe you may want to...
It can be in two layers. For example, even before you begin to put up a brand, you need to have done a research to know what are the need areas. So there are existing entities doing what you want to do, but doing it in a certain way. And the market is having a certain ripple. So your research is going to tell you, this is the way the market is responding to this area. That's the feedback. Based on that, you are now building a niche area. So number one, before you start, your business must be research anchored. And the research is already a feedback the market is giving. We are dissatisfied with this. We are pleased with this. We are pleased with that. So based on this, you are creating a unique niche area. That is one leg. A pre-market research or feedback. Then a during market. When you are now starting, you are now giving your product. You are now serving. The 5 people you serve, get the feedback. The best marketing is word of mouth. Somebody who has experience. I'm a Christian. The Bible says, taste and see that the Lord is good. Great. So in essence, Even God is saying, just try me. It is the people who have listened. 12 people connected with him called disciples. Today, 3 point something billion.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. So a feedback is going to give you, are we doing what we have promised?
Right.
Are people satisfied with what we are doing? Do we need to improve? Do we need to downsize? Is there something that they are uncomfortable with? Maybe your product is solid, your packaging is bad. You want to get that feedback. Maybe your product is very good, but the problem is the time you deliver.
Okay.
You must always get a feedback. It's a relationship. This whole business thing is a relationship.
Right.
So without a feedback, before you realize, you'll be out of market. It is germane, it's central
Right.
to the whole business
Business.
metrics. Yeah.
I see. Very, very interesting. Now, what role does storytelling play in branding?
It's a central figure. You see, branding is not an abstract issue, especially in Africa, where our very life revolves around stories. Look, without a story, a branding is an abstract step.
Okay.
So, for example, we go to a university and we see a student leader that we have influenced and impacted in University of Zambia, that our product resonated with this young man to the point that he took his studies serious. Whilst a student leader, he got a first class.
Wow.
A first class got a scholarship, went to University of Liverpool. From University of Liverpool, now gotten a scholarship to read a PhD with the hope that I'm returning to Africa to change the world. So if I want to make a pitch of our organization, come. I'm not going to talk about just our vision statement, mission statement. I will position it. We are influencing the world. Let me tell you a story of what we do. There was this young man in 2019 or 2016. I met at a Mission Empowerment Conference in Lusaka. It was a 5-day conference. ABCD. Long story short, we gave him our product. We presented some messages, resonated with him, gave him mentorship for the past 2 years, finished top of his class, went to University of Liverpool, got a scholarship. This is what we talk about. Value. It's a storyline. A storyline to tell you that our company is doing something. We are giving value. People are excelling. So if you want to identify with this product, the storyline is easy to connect with.
Right.
As to saying, our mission statement is, we see an Africa where, no, people connect with story.
Right.
So when you build, so for example, let's take like MTN. Everywhere you go.
Right.
That simple tagline is a story punchline. Just, it's about people.
Okay.
Malcolm, where Ghana shops. It's about people. It's always about stories. So when you don't have a good story, you must learn how to tell a good story. You need to have an eye to which stories are good to link your product with to sell to the rest of the world. Without a story, a brand is an abstract. Every good brand must have a good story. Every good brand must learn how to leverage a story to drive the market force.
Right. Okay, let's talk a bit about the elements. What are the things that tell that this particular brand is a strong one? Yes, what are the elements? What are the key elements to look out for?
Number one, their customer base.
Okay.
They are thinking about the customer. So customer satisfaction. And that involves customer feedback. Number two, they must be consistent.
Okay.
You see, whether you are consistent or not, you are already putting out a brand. It's an image. You must be consistent.
So even your inconsistency.
Yes, it's a message.
It's a brand.
It's a brand. So be consistent. And then the third thing is you must stand for value. What value are you giving? At the end of the day, it ends up on value.
Okay.
If you are not providing value, you are not needed. So number one, the customer experience. Number two, the consistency. And number three, the value proposition. What is the benefit of your existence to the larger audience? If these three are present, then we have a good way to go. You see, the issue about logo, color schemes, and the rest of them.
Because I was going to come to that.
They are appendages.
Okay.
They are good, but they are not the meat. They are the flowers. We have the root issues on which every brand must be rooted in.
Right.
So people are focused on what I call the window dressing. And that is what Nigerians usually call packaging. Too many are doing packaging on the street. Do the real thing. Are you connecting with your clients, your customers? Are you getting the feedback? Are you consistent with them? You want to deliver. You are doing kaftan. We are going for a wedding. We need it 3 days before time. Guy, be consistent. When you do it 30 times, you do it to every client. When you are going to be late, you don't wait for them to call you. You call them ahead of time.
Right.
That is consistency. Now we know you. He will deliver on time. I can bet you. If he will not deliver, he will let you know.
Right.
He will let you know. 2 friends of mine are doing some work. They are doing well. One is Ellis Mukasi. They are trying to, and it's a good brand. They are trying to pull together Ghanaian food for busy people. Taste their food. You'll be blown away. Yes, Airy Fairy, the Kaftan, decent. They are doing very well. One of my friends called Fidelis is doing such a good work. He does 70% of my work for me. But guess what? He has never disappointed me since I met them. He is always consistent, always on time. That is a brand.
Right. Right. Okay. So now let's get into some practical strategies that businesses can adopt. So, what are the first steps a new business should take to establish its brand? What are the first steps?
Number 1, know your client.
Okay, so it comes back to that.
My brother, they are simple. Know your audience. Know the niche value you are giving them. Understand their pain area. Scratch where it is itchy for them. Be willing to accept feedback. Be consistent with them. And look for a good story. In every layer of your growth, look for a good story. Don't be fake. Be real. Remember, we started this whole conversation with understanding. Branding is what people say about you when you are not there. Let me tell you a story. We started building our training center, and we are almost getting through with it. There is this group that is aiding us with the building. The leader is called Greenfield. My brother, he's waiting for me downstairs, I believe. We are going to site right from here. For 13 years, this guy has shown commitment with his product. He has never gotten to site before. He is always there. The site is about 10-minute drive away from my residence.
Okay.
He will leave La Paz with his team and be at site. They call them Glonia, the Glonia group. Brilliant. He's not here. But I'm saying it's not because of, it's an experience. I have lived it. The consistency. That is what the brand is about. That is what the brand is about. You may not know the manager or the CEO or CFO of Apple, but you know what they do.
Right.
You may not know the brand manager or the current marketing strategist at Samsung, but people are using them. Even during COVID, people were taking Coca-Cola. Even when they were not to be taking sugar, it's an experience. It's an experience. And this is what we need to learn as a people. Especially, I'm passionate about it because Ghana is the economic hub, headquarters of Africa. The Africa Free Continental Trade Area is here. Every watch seller, every Kosi seller needs to get this. And in the coming days, our team will be getting to the street. We call a group called the Street Economy to impact some of this knowledge. We are doing it on a lower key, but we are picking it this year to the next level. Branding is who you are, not what you pretend to be.
Okay, so apart from audience, know your audience. What other steps must you take as a new business to establish the brand? You want to establish.
If you know your audience, that is going to inform also how consistent you are going to be. Number 2, then how do you want to be seen by this audience? How do you want to be located? This is where the logo and stuff comes into place. And the audience must influence the choice of your logo.
Really?
The audience and the philosophy you want to communicate. So for example, if you are developing a concept that is Pan-African in nature. You must make sure the element that defines your corporate brand must have a certain Pan-African ethos. Then your color schemes be consistent. Many small businesses, today they are using this color, tomorrow they are using that color. No. Just be consistent. Just be firm. And that is informed by your audience and the product you want to sell to them. Branding is not complex. It is simple. But it's the consistency, it's the intentionality. That is what drives it. But most importantly, is the experience. You can't paint an experience on a box. You can't paint it. Experience is lived in people's heart.
Right.
That's brand.
I've learned a lot. I have plans of setting up a fashion brand.
Yes.
And so what you are saying is not just for my audience. I'm also picking my notes. You see me writing a lot of times. Yeah. You want to see something?
Yeah, after here, you need to see us. We'll give you some. We'll give you some tidbits. You may never know.
Right. Sure. I'm very glad.
Because I see you. I see your dressing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I must say, you speak very well. I like how you sound.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, I like how you sound. I like how you sound. Anyway, if you just joined this conversation, this is Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Ni Trebi Hammond. And we're having a conversation this morning with Mr. Godswill TK Mensah. And we're talking about effective brand strategies, branding strategies for your business. So I hope that you're taking some notes. And you'll be able to propel your brand to a better future. You can join a conversation on Instagram, Facebook, and X at ZFMGH, and then on YouTube and TikTok at Z Multimedia. YouTube and TikTok at Z Multimedia. You can also WhatsApp us on 0544321019, 0544321019. Mr. Mensah, how can startups create a memorable brand with a very low budget or limited budget?
Good. Number one, they should research.
Okay.
Do simple research. And when we say research is not just going to University of Ghana or going to Valley University or Ashesi University or going to KNUST to get some scholars no. Do a research. In fact, our mothers also do so. So do basic market research. Okay. Now, the research is going to influence what are the need areas of your clients. When you see the need areas of your client, then you put out a strategy and a plan. And you stick out to the strategy and the plan. Do a research. Identify the need areas of your clients. Put up a plan and a strategy that will respond to that need. Remember, branding is experience. People are missing it with packaging. Packaging alone or marketing alone is not a branding. When you set up a strategy, stick to the strategy and see to its execution. Then whilst you are doing so, you are going to be seeing that there are some basic things you need to retweak in the process of your engagement with your audience. Come back to the table again, retweak it, get back to it. Including even a logo. When we're doing a logo for our organization when we started, we put out 3 options to the public. They voted it. And they gave reasons. It informs us. Let people be part of the whole growing process.
Okay.
It's not just a group of people who sit in a boardroom. No, if you want your product to have what we call a mass appeal, engage the masses. Involve the audience. Get their feedback. Research about it. Know what they need. Build a strategy and deploy it. With social media, look, my brother, everybody is able to communicate. If you have 5,000 people on your profile, personal profile, that's already a whole massive group of people. Let me give you an example. We have a mango farm. So we deliver mango to some of our clients. And we have some mangoes still left. So I just posted it. Do business with that on Friday. 8 people reach out to me. They need mango juice. I'm just communicating with the audience, with our clients. 8 people just reach out to us. We want you to do mango juice. Wow. As we speak today, we are going to deliver to them.
Wow.
The point is this. Just be authentic, but have a plan. Stick to the plan. Be very intentional. People are very haphazard. They are not disciplined. They don't see to through. No. do the research, know the pain areas, have a strategy and a plan, stick to the plan, retweak it when you see there is a variation, get back to the drawing table. It's not too expensive.
Right.
It's not too expensive. With $10, you can reach 2,000 people on Facebook. You target them. Social media has broken the glass ceiling and make branding easier. My only issue is this: it must be real. Don't fake. If it's fake, it's a matter of time. The people will get to know. They'll see through it. And build a story. When you get a good storyline, let the world know of the story. Let your client tell you what this has done for them and tell the rest of the world. It's a matter of time. And you must be patient. Okay. Today, when you post things, people want 10,000 people to. No, build it organically, gradually. Don't be in haste. Build it gradually.
So I want to do all the things you're saying, but I have very limited resources.
Yep. Should
I invest it in the product, or I should invest it in the branding? So when I talk about the branding, I mean, you say that the meat of the matter is the message you're sending out there. And my colors, my logos, all of these things come together to form that particular brand. How do I go about it? My money is not too much.
Yes.
I mean, I have very limited budget.
Exactly. First, the product must be very good. No matter how you market it or brand it, if it is not what it is, they will know. So first, be honest and do a good work with the product.
Okay.
Now, concerning the physical look of the product, that is design, logos, packaging, and the rest of them, they are also very key. But they are not more important than the quality of the brand. If the brand is bad and the packaging is good, it's a matter of time. So, for example, there are people who are doing logos. Look, you can use Canva. With AI now, you can even design or get conceptual design of what you want and give it to a graphic designer to further polish for you. Okay. But there are basic softwares that can help you with color scheme. Canva can help you. Social media you post can help you. Some of the things you can do them yourself and gradually build up. Share them on your status. Share them on pages. Put them in squares. It doesn't need to be super expensive with social media. Gradually, be consistent with it and be patient. It's a matter of time. But when you are competing today with a brand that is 150 years and you want to get there in 5 years, you know, our generation is a microwave generation. It doesn't work that way.
Everything is fast.
Yes.
Fast food.
No, somebody want to drive the car that somebody has worked for 40 years. Take your time. Build your base. When it is organic, people will stay with you for long as far as you keep delivering value. So for those who are new businesses who want to begin, I dare say that with 1,000 Ghana cedi, you can get a good logo and a good set of posters design. In fact, if somebody is new and wants to rebrand, they should reach out to us. We will connect them with the minimum low budget. We will connect with them. Our team will pull out something that will blow their mind away. Very simple. But if you cannot, you want to do it yourself, my brother, aside all what we are saying, get a basic software.
Right.
Develop a seemingly good logo. Maintain a color scheme. Keep posting. Be consistent. If you're posting 3 times a day to announce a product, keep to it. I'm posting Monday, I'm posting Wednesday, I'm posting Friday. Be consistent with it. I'm providing a short video ad on Mondays and Fridays. Be consistent with it. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Getting the feedback. Keep doing it. Engaging the audience. But make sure what you are selling is authentic. It's authentic. That is the brand.
Right. It's authentic, and that's the brand. This is still Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM with me, Nicho Ebi Hammond. And we're having a conversation, of course, with Mr. Gottwill, TK Mensah. And we're talking about effective branding strategies for new businesses. Yeah. So I think you have spoken extensively, about consistency. How can we achieve that? How can business achieve consistency?
It's a product of discipline. It's a choice. No, it's not prayer. It's not anything. It doesn't come by accident. It's a choice. And we need to remember that, especially Ghanaians, we are building a local brand, but we are thinking a global market. We must not remain local. So if you want to go far, then you need to go deep with a full tank.
Right.
So if you want a product that will just feed you for the next 5 years, you can do it anyhow. But if you want to go the long haul, a lot of thinking must go into it. Begin where you are and just improve. It's not everything you know from the onset. Just start and fine tune, but be consistent. Consistency is a decision. It's a choice. And it shows the respect you have for your audience, your market, and your clients. It's a decision. Do you come every day to work?
Yes.
Why?
I have to be consistent. People are ready to listen.
It is you can't disrespect them.
Right.
You can't say that a program is your morning show begins at 6 and you are starting at 7. You are going to be consistent. Why? You have respect for the audience.
Yeah.
If we can do that because we work in a certain space, why not other products? It's a decision. Consistency is a decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So how should businesses choose visual elements like logo and posters and what have you? How should they do that?
Okay, 2 things and 2 and this is not exhaustive from the data and also from personal observations and research. Number 1, remember, we are coming back to the beginning. It's experience. You want to give the people experience. So, for example, our logo is COME with a globe, with a yellow logo coming to Africa, a yellow flame.
Okay.
What we are trying to say is we are inviting the world to come to Africa and pull all the resources of Africa for the good of Africa.
Okay.
So, logo must communicate an intent. So, what do you intend with this product after your market search? Number 2, the audience our audience at Come largely, it's basically Africans. They are our immediate. So the logo must reflect the solution you want to put forward. Number 2, the audience must be able to understand and connect with it. And number 3, without saying much, it is attracting insight and concept. It must not be complex. Simplicity is excellence. Simplicity is beauty. Any logo that is complex has a problem. Look at the best brand in the world, Nike. What's their logo? It's just that. Apple, Goyle, very basic logo. So the logo must not be complex. It must be simple. It must communicate value, solution, and it also must resonate with your audience. They need to own it. So you can't be talking about agriculture and the logo concept is demonstrating agro-business in Europe whilst your audience are in Africa. No, that is a dissonant.
What if you want to get there?
Yes, your market primarily are Africans.
Okay, so you connect
with them. And they need to see the heritage of the logo. That is why I like the Black Star Square. Nkrumah was communicating a powerful message that people downplay black race, but you can be black, but you can shine and shine like a gold. It's a philosophical statement.
Right.
Powerful. That a lot of thinking must go into a logo. And the simpler the logo, the more powerful it communicates. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go into some of the mistakes that we have to avoid as businesses. What are some of the biggest mistakes new businesses make when it comes to branding?
They just mimic others.
Okay.
There is no authenticity. So mimicking others, what others are doing, there is no authenticity. And by doing so from day one, you are losing your niche space. So be authentic. A brand is not a mimic of another. You must be unique. So you need to ask yourself, what is making me unique? So immediately you are copying just what others are doing. You are losing your relevance, your essence, because you are going to be swallowed. But when you stand unique, then you can easily be identifiable, even if there are many on the show. So that is number 1. But even for that to happen, you already know what you are offering. You must know what you are offering. What are you offering the audience? There should be a correlation between your logo and your solution you are providing. There should be a certain philosophical connection. Also, you need to come to the place that the brand is providing a solution that is not just abstract, it's authentic. My brother, branding is experience. Everything must revolve around the experience of your client. Be it where they ought to be or be it where you currently are. It must provide that framework for them. So you are communicating that experience. Don't mimic. Be authentic. Be unique. With this, you are getting somewhere. There are layers in doing branding. A beginner's need doing branding is different from someone who has been at it for 50 years, 30 years, and 40 years. So you need to also know the timing.
Okay.
Yes, the timing. When you're communicating something to Gen Zs, the language is different.
Right.
When you're communicating something to millennials, the language is different. The artwork, the visuals, the language, the colors, the painting, they are different. So your audience define what actually you're going to put out. So you must come to the conclusion. These are my audience.
Okay.
Based on this will be my visual. This will be, even where you put your content or your promos will define exactly who you are targeting. You can't be targeting Gen Zs without going to TikTok. In this age and day.
Right.
Or going to Instagram. No, they are the ones there. So this all informs what you need to do within the value chain. Yep.
Right. I like the points that you're raising. Now, are there any trends in branding that you want to advise businesses to avoid?
Yeah. Don't copy people. Be authentic. Be real. And if your audience are Asians, use Asian flavors. Use Asian concepts. If your audience are in South America, communicate that. Let what resonates with the people, communicate with them. Don't import strange abstract to drive. You explain too much. So use templates that your immediate audience can relate and identify with. I've seen a couple of people putting out logos and concept and stuff, and they are just imported blindly. It ought not to be. And they are African product, and they are dealing completely with Asian mystical logos, and they don't have no clue because it looks nice on social media. There must be a meaning to a brand. It is who you are.
Right.
If it's a business, what this business is or who this business is. So that must be avoided. Don't copy. Be authentic. If you want to learn something from others, contextualize it and own a unique identity. Own a unique identity and be consistent. Be consistent.
Right.
Be consistent.
Okay. I think one of the conversations we were having earlier, I mean, you one of the things you mentioned earlier was social media. How can businesses use social media to strengthen their brand? Say you have a brand already. How can you use social media to strengthen it?
It's a new place where the world is.
Okay.
So everybody, research is saying that people touch their phone, middle class people, about 38 times a day. Minimum. Some do 86 times a day, even those who are working, to check something on their screen. If you combine the aggregate usage of 3 key social media platforms, it's more than the population of the world combined. Some individuals have 3-4 accounts.
Right.
The world is on social media. So not to be on social media is to say we are not interested in reaching out to the world. It's a given. You must leverage social media, but you don't just go to social media and begin to post. Please use experts, use brand influencers where possible. Yes, use brand influencers, use boosting, boost your messages, boost your art to be able to reach target audience. And don't just boost, do targeted boosting. There are aspects in this. If you're a business person listening to me, use the right people, use the expert. You can't just do it all yourself. It can't be in-house. Sometimes sublet it to entities and organizations. Let them pick up your branding for you. And have a KPI. And let's see, are we getting the numbers? How you know that your branding on social media is making waves, is rich? It must reflect in your sales. It must reflect in your feedback. It must reflect in your commendation or critique from your constituent. That is how you get to know that this, without, you can't be doing it for 5-8 years without getting any feedback. 8 months. No, there must be a feedback. You see the growth trajectory and it must be monitored. There is a science behind doing online marketing and the experts are there. We need to connect with them.
We need to connect with the experts and let them do. So many businesses would want to do some of these things by themselves, especially new businesses, startups. They like to do their own posting, handling their own social media and all of that. And so I think it's a very important point that you raised, that you need to go in for the experts. Go for somebody that is in the space, who has the knowledge and the experience to be able to help you do that.
Let me chip in this.
Okay,
sometimes it may not be expensive budget. Sometimes you leverage relationship.
Okay.
You leverage relationship. You leverage relationship. So you know someone who is very good at it in a certain field. You tell them that I'm struggling here. Can you help my business? Can you help us? We are local businesses trying to get into the market, but we lack this. We know you are good at this. Can your entity just guide us and lead us? It may not be at a huge cost. So leverage relationship where you can fund it to be able to push it and be able to do it. Yeah.
Wow. So how do businesses measure? I know you've mentioned something like that already, but I want you to go into it a bit more. How do businesses measure the success of their branding? I think what you mentioned, you spoke about social media. I'm sure it applies to the same.
It's basically the same. Success is relative.
Okay.
Some businesses, and it's where the business is. So some businesses just want to have visibility. For 2 years, they just want to be visible. And for them, capacity to be visible is the KPI to show they are successful.
Okay.
They will define their success by that. Some are at a place where they want to scale up. So they want volumes. So the past quinquennium, they are doing 1 million in a month. Okay, the product is going 1 million product. Now they want to do 8 million product.
Okay.
Or 4 million product. So the in-house KPI you set up will determine. So based on the goal, what you want to achieve, will also determine the branding and the marketing strategy you want to deploy. So your personal target and the goal you want to achieve is what will drive it. But for business, it boils down to one thing. There must be sales, and it comes with volumes, and it comes with orders, it comes with customer satisfaction, it comes with feedback. Yes, so when clients are saying, where did they get the brand? Oh, we got it on your social media platform. Or somebody shared it here and we got it. If you are getting such, then you know that the art you are doing is really working. Then word of mouth. Somebody experienced it and the person encourages us to do it. You need to know what the goal is for the period. So for your entity as Z Digital or Z Radio or FM, you are a year plus old or barely a year. So your KPIs may be different from another media house that is 11 years in terms of visibility, popularity, and in terms of what they call success for the first quarter of 2025. So every business must know where they are and where they are headed. And depending on these two, they can now say, we were successful, we had failed. If I want to just be visible, I can't compare with somebody who wants a 3 million volume just in a month. So I would say it must be a customized KPI by the businesses and the entities.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So businesses must set some KPIs.
Good.
Key performance indicators.
Exactly. Yeah.
As and when they are moving on. Now let's go a bit advanced. We have some few minutes to go.
All right.
But how can businesses evolve their brand? You can start in a particular way, but over the period of time, you want to evolve into a bigger brand. How do you do that without losing your identity?
It boils back to two things. Number one, we don't do business just because we want to tickle ourselves.
Okay.
We do business because we want to meet a need. If you watch the conversation, we'll keep coming back to one thing.
Right.
So we want to give a group of people experience. We want to solve a problem. So if you want to evolve, you must make sure you don't lose your solution touch.
Right.
Every layer of evolution that makes me influence my market better, serve them better, is needless. It's luxury. It may be it will not be productive.
Yeah.
So number one, to evolve is to say, these are our core pillars. This is our strength, or these are our strengths. We want to upgrade them without losing the touch we are giving the client. The customers are satisfied in this area. So we want to maintain that. It's very key. Number two, some may not be necessary. Some of the evolving may just not be anything big or anything unique. I give you a typical example. I said Fan Eyes, Ghana. When they wanted to evolve, the research told them people are health conscious. So all they did was to add up a different product that provide value for those who are health conscious. Guinness came up and said, you know what? We are providing alcoholic drink, but there are non-alcoholics who still must interface with our product. So let's come with Malta Guinness. That is an evolving.
Right.
They're evolving.
Yeah.
We produce alcoholic drink. Another group says that we produce local gin, but we want a certain group of the audience who don't consume this to interface with us. So we provide water. So the market research must inform the areas you need to evolve in. We don't evolve in branding for evolving sake.
Okay.
It must be data driven. So what the data says is where we'll be linked towards. But in all the evolving we may be doing, or the evolution, we must be providing value and solving a problem. Basically, provide value and keep solving a problem. Give more satisfaction to the audience and give them, maybe if you permit, options.
Right.
Options.
Right.
Options, yeah.
Now, there's something called branding strategy.
Yeah.
What exactly is it? Maybe you can just talk about that briefly.
It's basically an entity's module to deliver what their KPI is.
Okay.
It's a strategy. So an entity's module to deliver their KPI. So in this year, Z Multimedia or ZFM say that we want to get 3% or 5% additional of the market share. So based on research, here are our target audience. Here are our market. Here are prospective people. This is their pain area. Here is this. So we are using 8 months to drive a certain traffic towards our content. And in the first month, this is what we do. In the second month, this is what we do. This is what we do. When it is women's issue, we want to tackle women's issue. We want to tackle so it is a brand strategy is an entity's module to deliver their KPIs and build a better identity for themselves. Basically, how they achieve their goal of being the brand that they want people to see that they are is basically a communication or a branding strategy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe there's a business person or a business owner listening to me right now, and they are saying that their business strategy, their branding strategy is not working. What do they do?
They need to review what they have done in the past. It boils down again to research. And when they say research, sometimes it's overused. But research includes the feedback. It includes what others are doing. Who are the market leaders? What are they doing differently? How are they excelling? Who are the customers? What do they consume? If you don't know what your customers want to interface with, what they are consuming, what they are listening to, what they are watching, you cannot execute a good brand strategy. So it is basically research and interplaying with the variables that are influencing both the market and even reviewing what you have done in the past. What was the feedback our clients were giving us? Did we pay attention to them? What is the percentage of our meeting the needs of our customers? Where are our shortfalls? Where are our strengths? What are other giant leaders doing? So if our competitors are growing by 8% per annum, why are we growing by 1.2%? What are they doing differently? All this box together, when it is reviewed, then we can be able to say we are looking at it and we are trying to remodule, to relaunch so that we can get a certain outcome. It must be market research based. Market research based.
Well, this is still Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. Time check is exactly 15 minutes past 9. We are in the last 10 minutes of our conversation this morning. And we're talking to Mr. Godswill TK Mensah. And he's sharing with us some very, very good insights when it comes to brand strategies for new businesses. Now, I have just a few questions to ask you before we go. Let's say there's somebody who is listening and saying that, oh, you've been talking about consistency. I have to be consistent. But they've already created an image of inconsistency in the eyes of their customers. How do they change that?
Become consistent. They just should become consistent. Begin to be consistent right now. So, for example, for the past 4 years, we have been inconsistent in delivering our product. We now want to change that narrative. What do? Begin being consistent with a client at a time.
Okay.
Just a client at a time. The problem is we like quick fixes. It must be, every solution must be at the root base. Take your time. Admit that, okay, we have been inconsistent. It's our weakness. We admit. Then start serving your client intentionally with the virtue of consistency. Don't talk too much. Don't go and promise anything. Listen, let your actions speak.
All right.
Yes. And then the result will cancel the insult you have built for yourself over the period. Yeah.
I see. Okay, maybe finally, are there some brands or some businesses that have done some effective, that you can highlight as having very good brands, or maybe they've rebranded and they are very good? There's some you can mention, because I know people are listening and they might want to go and check on some company and see what they are doing, and then try to learn something from them. Not mimic, but learn from them.
Good.
Maybe you can mention a few of them.
Number one, you need to find out how come we started from Space Phone. We came to Ariba and we move, we are at MTN. And other competitors come to the market, but they are still market shareholders. We need to study about it. What are they doing differently? There are many malls in Ghana and places where they sell. People may not like it. And I'm not endorsing any brand because of anything, but you need to find out, why is Melcom such a little common name? They may be doing something very great. You need to look at that. You need to find out, even within the state entities, okay, I will not mention this. I'll reduce myself to this too. I don't want to get into you need to find out. You need to find out. Another thing you need to find out is there a brand that was completely battered, reduced, bashed, abused, and they had a bad image? And you recall some years ago, a Melcom building collapsed.
Right.
You recall?
Yeah.
Many people have forgotten. That is a good branding. That must be solid. That was a heavy thing on Melcom.
Yeah, I remember.
How did they recover? That must be serious. So I will use these two to make the point. Why are people aggravating towards them? Do you know that when you want to talk about bottled water, some years ago, do you know what people even call it? I don't want to mention some brand, but they have a name they call it.
Right.
There must be a reason. There must be a reason. So it's because they are able to sway the audience, meet a certain need, to the point that if you talk about this service, there is a certain brand that is associated with it. For example, if you want to eat in Accra, you are a middle-aged person, and you want to eat in a decent space, or even in your community, whether you are at Hacho, or you are living at Taifa, or you are living at Ohibi, a certain food joint will come to mind. That is because of their brand. But I will leave you with MTN, and I will leave you with Melcom.
Okay.
I will leave you with MTN and Melcom.
Right. So why did they succeed? And that's my...
The summation of all what we studied today.
Okay.
Number one, they had an identity that they built so solidly over the period by meeting needs of their client, by serving their customers, by understanding their needs, and building a unique personality that is resonating with the customers, that they are loyal to them. Basically, that is the reason. People are loyal to MTN. They are loyal to their brand. Reason is basic. They have been able to profile a certain unique or niche need, and the people are resonating with it, and they are awarding or rewarding them with loyalty. So people trust them. The reason why people stick with the brand, they trust the brand. If they don't trust the brand, they move.
If you don't trust the brand, they move. And so branding is very, very, very important that we must pay attention to. Maybe my last question will be, if you could give one golden rule for branding, for building an effective brand, what would it be?
Give people experience.
Okay.
It's a condition precedent to all the flowery logo stuff. Let them have an experience. A brand without an experience is a facade. It will collapse.
Repeat that. A brand without
an experience is a facade. It will collapse.
It's been a very, very, very good conversation this morning here. And I just want to say thank you to you.
I like the way you anchor your program.
Thank you.
Yes. That's a promising one. Keep it up.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Any final thoughts?
Final thought is that Ghana is the headquarters of African Continental Free Trade Area. We are the headquarters of the trade in Africa. Ghanaians must exude confidence. They must understand the intricacies of branding, and they need to own it. And don't be ashamed. Please stick your neck out and first build an experience with your customers before all the flowery things we do. Let people have an experience, and they will remember you, and they will trust you, and they'll be loyal to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Godswill TK Mensah.
That's my name.
It's been a very good conversation. I don't tell you to just say, we have a minute. Maybe what has come?
Good. It's a center for outreach, mentorship, and empowerment.
Okay.
If you're looking for a group or an entity that add value to the human life, that is where we are. We mentor young boys, we mentor young girls, we mentor businesses, we mentor professionals. Like you, for example. When you enroll in our mentorship program, my brother will be a pro.
Is it free?
No, it's at a cost.
Okay. How can we reach you?
Plus 0243 450 639. 0243 450 639.
639.
Great.
Okay. I guess you're on social media as
well.
We are. Once we...
Yes.
Maybe you can mention your social media handles.
Godswill TK Mensah.
Okay.
Godswill TK Mensah. Yeah.
Instagram.
Yes.
All the social media platforms.
Godswill TK Mensah.
All right. Thank you so much for coming.
It's my pleasure.
I'm grateful that
it's my pleasure.
We'll have some conversations behind the...
Thank you so much.
Behind the scenes. We are grateful.
All right.
So it's exactly 58 minutes past 9, and we have just 2 minutes to go off. But that's where we wrap up today's edition of the Business Breakfast on Z101.9 FM. It's been such a pleasure being with you since 6:15 a.m. until now, and I hope our conversation on branding has given you some fresh ideas and practical tools to take your personal or business brand to the next level. Thank you very much for staying tuned and making me Raphael Nitrebi Hammond and